The United States has created a monster. It's a beast made of more than $37 trillion of debt, and it has at times been growing at the horrifying pace of $1 trillion every 100 days. This isn't just some abstract number you see on the news. This is a ravenous creature, a leviathan of our own making, and its insatiable hunger is now turning towards the one thing humanity has trusted for over 5,000 years as a store of real value: gold. What happens when this debt monster finally decides to swallow every last ounce of gold on Earth? The answer is far more terrifying than you can imagine, and it reveals a truth about our financial system that the people in charge hope you never, ever figure out. Stay with me, because we are going to visualize this beast's terrifying appetite and show you exactly what it means for your money, your savings, and your future. To really get the scale of this monster, you have to put it in perspective. We hear the word trillion thrown around so casually now, it's almost lost all meaning. So let's try this. If you spent $1 million every single day, it would take you over 100,000 years to burn through $37 trillion. It's a stack of $100 bills that would reach the moon and back multiple times. As of late 2025, this colossal sum works out to about $110,000 for every single person in the United States. Do you have an extra $110,000 lying around to pay your share? What about for your kids or your grandkids? This isn't some far-off problem for another generation. The debt to GDP ratio, a measure of our country's debt compared to its entire economic output for a year, is now well over 120%. Historically, a level this high is a flashing red light for economic disaster. We've blown past the tipping point, where debt grows faster than the economy itself. That means we can't just grow our way out of this anymore. Think of it like a family that owes $120,000 but only brings in $100,000 a year. And every year, instead of cutting back, they spend more than they make, adding to that mountain of debt. How does that story ever end well? The defenders of the system will tell you not to worry, that the government can just print more money. But that's not a solution. That's the poison. Every new dollar printed makes the ones in your wallet and your bank account worth less. It's a hidden tax called inflation, and it's the most destructive force for any normal person trying to get ahead. They'll also say we can raise taxes or cut spending. But let's be honest, the political will to do either in a meaningful way just isn't there. Any real attempt at austerity is treated as political suicide, and any tax hike would be a drop in the ocean against a tidal wave of new spending. The system is broken. The promises cannot be kept. The numbers just don't add up. We're not at the edge of the cliff anymore. We are in a full, uncontrolled nosedive, and the pilots are busy arguing about the color of the parachutes. What makes this debt monster truly terrifying isn't just its size, it's the appetite. This beast needs to be fed every single day, and its food is interest payments. As of 2025, the interest payments alone on the national debt have absolutely exploded. The United States government is now spending over $1.2 trillion a year just to service its debt. Let that sink in. That is more than the entire national defense budget. It is now the second largest government expenditure, surpassed only by Social Security. This creates a terrifying feedback loop, what economists call a debt spiral. We are literally borrowing new money to pay the interest on the money we've already borrowed. This new borrowing makes the total debt even bigger, which in turn makes the next interest payment even higher, forcing us to borrow even more. The monster is eating itself to grow larger. And here's where the story gets even darker. Where are we borrowing all this money from? We sell IOUs, called treasury bonds, to investors and other countries. For decades, the world was happy to buy them, seeing them as the safest investment on the planet. But what happens when the lenders start to seriously doubt the borrower's ability to ever pay them back? They start demanding higher interest rates, or worse, they just stop lending. We're seeing this happen in real time. The world is losing its appetite for US debt. And who can blame them? When your debt is growing like this and you have no credible plan to stop it, you stop being a safe bet. You become a risk, a massive systemic risk to the entire global financial system. This forces the Federal Reserve to step in and print money to buy up the debt that nobody else wants, which only devalues the currency faster in that vicious cycle we just talked about. It's a house of cards built on a foundation of wishful thinking. The consequences for you aren't abstract at all. It means the cost of everything you buy keeps going up. It means interest rates on your mortgage, your car loan, and your credit cards climb higher as the government desperately competes with you for loans. It means your wages struggle to keep up with the real cost of living, and the dream of a secure retirement gets pushed further and further away. This monster isn't just some problem in Washington, D.C. It's a direct assault on your family's financial security. Now let's truly visualize the sheer mind-bending scale of this debt monster. The only way to do that is to measure it against something real, something tangible, something that has held its value across all of human history. Gold. How much gold actually exists in the world? According to the World Gold Council, the best estimates suggest that around 216,000 metric tons have been mined in all of history. This is every king's crown, all the bullion in every central bank, every wedding ring, every tiny fleck of gold in our electronics. Everything. If you took every single ounce of that gold and melted it down into one solid cube, it would measure just 22 meters on each side. It's an astonishingly small amount for a metal that has driven so much of human history. So what's all that gold worth? As of late 2025, the price of gold has been hovering around $4,100 per ounce. If we do the math, multiplying the total amount of gold on Earth by its price, we get a total value of about $28.7 trillion. Now, do you see the problem? The United States national debt at over $37 trillion is already significantly larger than the value of every single ounce of gold ever mined in the history of the world. That's the monster's appetite. It has already grown bigger than all the gold on planet Earth. If we tried to pay off the US debt with every piece of gold bullion, every artifact, and every piece of jewelry from every corner of the globe, we would still be short by nearly $10 trillion. And that shortfall is growing every single day. This isn't just a clever comparison, it's the clearest illustration of the crisis we're in. We have created a paper monster of debt so vast that it has completely dwarfed the ultimate physical measure of real wealth. It shows that the foundation of our financial system is no longer tethered to reality. It's built on a promise that is mathematically impossible to keep. The system has reached a point of such absurdity that all the real money in the world can't even begin to fix it. So if the government's promises are broken and the dollar in your pocket is a melting ice cube, what are the smartest financial minds in the world doing? They're not sitting around hoping for a political solution. They are taking action. And they are doing exactly what the smart money has always done in times of crisis. They are buying gold. Central banks around the world have been on a historic gold buying spree, purchasing over 1,000 tons a year for the last few consecutive years. Countries like China, Poland, and India are aggressively adding to their reserves. They are quietly backing away from the US dollar and diversifying into the one asset that cannot be printed into oblivion. They see the writing on the wall. They know that in a world of spiraling debt, gold isn't just an investment. It's an insurance policy against the very chaos their own policies are creating. We started this journey by staring a monster in the face, an over $37 trillion beast of debt that's getting bigger by the second. We've shown how its voracious appetite is fueled by a debt spiral of interest payments that now cost over $1 trillion a year, squeezing out essential spending and crushing the finances of everyday Americans. We've visualized its terrifying scale by showing that this debt monster is now far larger than the value of every ounce of gold in existence. This isn't just an economic problem, it's a full-blown crisis of confidence, a sign that our financial system has become dangerously unhinged from reality. The path we are on is completely unsustainable. Every day, the dollar in your savings account buys a little bit less. Every day, its value is being silently stolen by inflation, the direct result of this out-of-control debt. The people in charge don't have a real solution. Their only plan is to keep printing more money, which is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. For centuries, gold has been the final backstop. It's the one asset that stands as a reliable store of value when currencies fail and governments break their promises. Central banks know this. That's why they are accumulating it at a record pace. They are preparing for a future where the dollar is no longer the undisputed king. A great monetary reshuffling is no longer a fringe theory. It's happening right now in plain sight. The question you have to ask yourself is simple. Are you going to trust your future to the same people who created this monster? Or are you going to take a page from 5,000 years of history and secure your wealth with the one asset that has survived every single financial crisis? Subscribe for data-driven breakdowns of trade, tech, and money. Signals, not slogans. History rhymes. Power rebrands. Stay inquisitive.